preface today. I am not here to bury Bubba Chandler, for crying out loud. Good morning to you. Good Tuesday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Chandler got hit hard last night. Rough outing in the Pirates' 12-3 loss to the Yankees in Tampa. None of which means, well, almost anything. I'm saying all the time that spring results don't matter. Spring scores definitely don't matter. But what's happened with Chandler so far through 3 appearances is not exactly aligning with the roadmap that I'd set up for him to, make the team. And that was at least a reasonable, expectation. Is that too strong? Hope is probably a more accurate term. When you're the number one prospect in the system and you're one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball, hopes are going to be high. When you've made it to AAA and you've begun dominating people, hopes are going to be high. When the rest of baseball starts mulling about what a rotation would look like with Paul Skenes and Jared Jones and Mitch Keller and then Chandler, hopes are going to be high. The one thing I tried to do this winter when discussing Chandler was to emphasize again and again that the only way he should break with the team out of spring is if he pulled a Jones, if he did what Jones did last spring. And I was pretty clear in stating that that would be very, very difficult to do because Jones didn't just have the results, and he had all the results. He had everything going on. All of his stuff, his command, he was overwhelming batters. And guess what? He carried that into the season. He was doing that for quite a while until he started wearing down a little bit. Chandler, in those 3 appearances, has totaled 2 1/3 innings, which really isn't reflective of much. But in that time, he's been charged with 4 runs on 4 hits, along with 4 walks to go with 2 strikeouts. In the game last night, he threw 22 pitches, only 10 of those for strikes. There's not a positive to be had in there. And when Chandler himself has been saying this spring that he's, really just trying to sharpen up his other pitches, he's trying to ramp up, to get to where his velocity is, he builds off throwing hard. He's almost telling you, in addition to telegraphing you, that he's not there. He's not going to be coming out of camp and playing hero. And that's not a loss. That is not a strike against anyone. Not Chandler, not management, not all of those people that I'm usually picking on. Because he's 22 years old. And what Jones did was the exception, not this. This is the norm. And this should also be, I think anyway, a reminder to everybody. You've got one Skenes, okay? You've got one. That's because there's only one. Not just only one in Pittsburgh, there's only one anywhere. And the rest of these guys need to be treated like the mortals that they are. Again, not speaking that in any sort of, snarly tone. I had to remind myself of that at times over the 2024 season when it came to Jones. Because early on, remember, it wasn't that you just had one of them. You had 2 of them. This is unbelievable. Well, you didn't. You've got Skenes. Then you've got these other guys that are promising or encouraging that you hope can become something. Hope is all right here. Hope doesn't dissipate because Chandler's not instantly going to crack the rotation. Hope is a good thing to have. Don't ever dump on hope. This can still be a very, very good and very young rotation. And heck, if you don't have hope in that, I mean, let's not talk about the rest of the roster. When we come back, J1Q.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstoragececk.org. That's gunstoragececk.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
Today's J1Q comes from Tom, who says, "Hey DK, here's a non-finance, non-nutting J1Q. What effect, if any, is Paul Skenes having, or could he have, on the rest of the pitching staff? Things like pitch tunneling, grips, sequencing, knowing when a player is tipping pitches, etc. I know that players don't offer unsolicited advice, but I also know that there's a lot of asking and what do you think of that goes on. If it makes a team better, why not? By all accounts, he's a remarkable man. I can only see his presence as uplifting regardless." You want to know something, Tom? You magnificently answered your own question with that very last sentence that you had. Skenes is a magnet. Now, if you want to be, a skeptic about that, you can say, well, of course, he's a, big star. Everybody always likes to be around someone like that. That's not what this is. Skenes is a magnet for baseball conversation. When he is in a baseball environment, he is 100% baseball. Saw this myself again this spring down in Bradenton, and it's something to behold because it could be some random, pardon me on this, but some random nobody 32-year-old journeyman catcher. And Skenes can be sitting there engaged with him in a conversation that'll come across to a passerby as if it's these two plotting what it's going to be like for them in Game 7 of the NLCS. Okay? Even though the catcher guy doesn't have a prayer of being anywhere near that place without buying a ticket. He'll do that with the pitchers. He hangs with the pitchers. And by the pitchers, I mean the starting pitchers. You will see Paul and Mitch Keller walking together. You'll see Paul and Jared Jones. Oh, my goodness. Pretty much everywhere. You'll see the three of them. You'll see Bailey Falter in that group. Falter, by the way, did not have a great game last night either against the Yankees. You'll see him. How do I put this? Because he's been careful about wording this himself. He's been a leader in every environment that he's been in, whether that's college baseball or just college period, or in his time involved the Air Force. And yet he'll also say, I'm not ready in this environment to be that. And that's how he carried himself through 2024. Came up, was the instant big shot, and rightly so, and deferred left and right. And then as the season went on and things got tougher for everybody, you could see he started becoming more of the adult in the room. He himself expects there will be more of that this season, but don't think it's going to go too far. Don't think they're going to be stitching a C on his jersey or something like that. Can he lift up the starting pitchers? My answer to that, Tom, my distinct answer is he's already done that, and he's still doing it. I appreciate the question. Outstanding. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one of these tomorrow.